everyone, I'm Rachel and I'm here to share with you 10 study tips for these upcoming finals. The first 5 tips that I have are all things that you can do to prepare before you actually start studying so that you are studying more efficiently once you get to that point. Number 1, pay attention in class. Listen, I know it can be really hard to pay attention in class sometimes, especially if you have friends in your class, but it's extremely important that you do so and that you take notes as well as you're paying attention. This way, you're able to actually at least retain a little bit of information rather than completely starting from scratch when it's time to study with your books. Number 2, get high quality sleep. This is also a really hard one for us college students. I understand, trust me. It's crazy the difference, at least for me, between my studying and what I retain when I've gotten a good amount of sleep versus when I've gotten a horrible amount of sleep. And not even like the amount of sleep, but the quality of sleep that you're getting. If you're sleeping for 8 hours, but you're not in those deep sleep REM stages or whatever, I don't know much about sleep science, but if you're not getting deep enough sleep or good enough sleep, it's gonna really damage how you study. Number 3, turn off your phone. Yes, this is another thing you can do that's, again, hard for college students. But if we turn off our phones in class, we're able to pay attention more. But also if we turn off our phones while we're actually going to work and studying, we're not going to be distracted by Instagram or a text message you may receive from a friend. Number 4, organization. It is extremely important to be organized. I like to use a planner to make sure I have all of my dates lined up so I don't miss any due dates. But organization doesn't just have to be with your schoolwork. The place in which you study, it's important that that is also organized. Otherwise, if it's super cluttered, your mind is gonna feel super cluttered, and that's just not a great headspace to be studying in. Number 5, do not procrastinate. It's really important that you plan out when you want to study. Let's say you have from midterms to finals to prepare for finals, right? If you wait until the last week of this semester before finals to start studying for your finals, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. You should be studying throughout that entire time period. Something you can do to help yourself do that is give yourself mini deadlines throughout the semester. That way you're able to space out your studying and you're not just trying to cram it all in your brain at the last minute. Number 6, study snacks. Okay, so it's so important that you have good quality study snacks. It's important that they don't only taste good, but that they also are giving you a good amount of energy so that you're able to study well. You don't want to just eat potato chips the whole time. That's not probably going to be a really good source of energy for studying. And I actually reached out to Mindy Diller. She is our dietitian on campus. She gave me a long list of some really good examples of study snacks that have a balance of carbohydrates and quality fiber and protein. Having a good balance of all of these things are going to be able to keep you fuller longer, and it will provide you with more energy. Some of those things include apples and peanut butter, veggies or pretzels with hummus, a smoothie with protein, watermelon and nuts, string cheese and fruit, and one of our dietitian's favorites, frozen fruit with a drizzle of chocolate syrup and topped with crushed cashews. That sounds really good. Number 7, an on and off schedule. So with this point, I want to recommend giving yourself maybe like 10-15 minutes of studying and then taking a 5-minute break. If you're reading from like a textbook or something, study those points for about 10-15 minutes and then give yourself a little mental break. That works for me, and it's one of my favorite things to do. Number 8, a reward system. Kind of tag teaming off of the last point. One of the more successful study tips that I found is rewarding yourself with small little goals throughout your studying. And that can be like, if you finish reading this page, you can get like a little piece of candy or something like that. Just something to look forward to motivate you to continue to study. Number 9, testing and quizzing yourself. So this is super important for memorization type classes, when you just have to memorize a lot of facts, or if you're like me and you're in a theater class and you have to memorize a monologue or something, this is super helpful. You can test and quiz yourself with flashcards. If you have a person with you, you can have them test or quiz you, and that leads me into my last point. Number 10, don't study alone. Okay, I want to just do a little disclaimer on this one. Some people, they thrive when they're studying by themselves, and that's great. Like, I'm not saying that you have to change anything about that. Some people, it's a little harder to study by yourself, because you might find yourself getting distracted more often because you don't have someone to be like, hey, you need to get back on studying. And that's why I think it's important to not study by yourself. If you study with someone else, like I said, they can keep you accountable and make sure that your 5-minute breaks are not turning into 20-30-minute breaks. And they can also encourage you in your studying, especially if they're in one of your classes. They also need to study. And so if you both do it together, that could be extremely helpful. All right, those are all of these study tips that I have for you today. If there's something I forgot to mention or something that works really well for you, go ahead and comment that down below so that you can share the love. And go ahead and leave a like on this video, because that would be really cool. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more vlogs like this from myself and a few other amazing people. And I will see you next time. Bye guys!